Hi. My name is Julius Callan. I'm a teacher over at Dallas City High School, and I was wondering if there was somebody I could talk to about this particular textbook.
Is there anything wrong with the book, sir?
Yes. Well, you see, this book is...
Well, if there's something wrong with the book, you would have to take that up with the publisher. If you'd like to contact them, their address is here on the back.
No. You see, I was just wondering if there had been any mix-ups with any textbooks lately.
Well, do you know when the book was shipped?
Well, today's Thursday, so Monday. The book was shipped Monday.
Oh, well, I know who that was. That was the new guy. He just started here last month. I'll go get him. Would you mind waiting here, sir?
Sure. Thank you. After successful launches on Cape Canaveral, the site of the first American suborbital rocket flights was named the Launch Operations Center. Well, that part's true at least. That just happened 2 years ago. It was later renamed the John F. Kennedy Space Center following his assassination in November of 1963 in Dallas, Texas.
Mr. Callan, this is Lee. He made the shipment to your school on Monday.
For Pete's sake, Julius, I'm telling you, it's got to be a gag.
A gag, huh? Read the bottom of page 206. According to this textbook, tomorrow, our president on Elm Street...
Julius, just stop for a second. What does this textbook have to say about that?
Not a heck of a lot. It's not a history book, it's a politics of science book. So all I know is when and where it takes place. But I've done some research of my own today.
Research?
Yeah, this guy Oswald in the picture here, this guy was in the Naval Air Technical Training Center and also in the Marine Corps, so he knows about artillery.
So? Thousands of guys are in the Marine Corps, Julius.
Yeah, but not all of them were court-martialed, Mason. Not all of them were closely monitored by the CIA for being a suspected ally with the Soviet Union. Not all of them were arrested for spreading Cuban propaganda in New Orleans.
So what are you saying, Julius?
Mason! The man was a communist insurgent, and probably a Marxist, too. You know, I've been doing some asking around, and I think he may have had something to do with the assassination attempt of General Walker this past April.
Really?
I think so. I mean, Kennedy relieved Walker of his command for political indoctrination, and Oswald must have found out where he lived and...
Mr. Callan.
Principal Bateman,
May I see you in my office?
Sure thing, Principal Bateman. I'll be there just as soon as I...
Now?
Yes, sir. Mason, here, keep this safe. I'll get it from you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
But why don't you keep it?
I don't think it's safe here. And you're done with your classes, right?
Right. Okay. I'll hold on to it.
Mr. Callan!
Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Do you know why I called you in here, Mr. Callan?
Yes, Principal Bateman, and I just want to deeply apologize for not being there today for my classes.
That's not why, Mr. Callan.
I'm afraid I don't understand, Mr. Bateman.
It has come to my attention that you have left a few things off of your resume.
Look, Mr. Bateman...
I'm not finished. Julius, I read the contents of your file long before the ink of my signature had dried on your formal statement papers, but I hardly gave them a second thought. My concerns are not with the prior claim to these records, but of the safety of this school and for what this school stands for. Now, I like you, Julius. You remind me of myself when I was just starting out here. So I'm gonna give you a chance. Just please go back to your class this period, or what's left of it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cowan?
Mother Mary and Joseph, what happened?
Kate, I need a place to stay tonight.
I didn't figure you for a smoker.
I'm not.
The paper said that it's going to rain tomorrow morning. Maybe the president will call in sick.
I told you wouldn't believe me. It's alright. I have trouble believing it myself.
Why don't you just bring the textbook to the police?
And tell them what? That it came from a dozen years in the future? They'd lock me up for that alone. Plus, I have a record at the FBI that tarnished my reputation a while back.
What happened?
Back when I was teaching at the State Department, an anonymous colleague made a charge against me, claiming I was stealing departmental information and using it to violate provisions of the Geneva Convention.
And?
And nothing. The colleague disappeared and the charge was dropped, but the Investigation Bureau kept an open file on me.
Julius, you have to warn someone. I mean, if what you're saying is true, the president's life may be at stake.
I know, you're right. When I meet up with Mason tomorrow at school, we'll turn the book into the authorities. Maybe it'll stop something before it gets started.
Hey, for whatever it's worth, I believe you.
Well, you sure take the raves of a madman pretty lightly.
No, I'm just slowly coming to conclusions about your personality again.
And what is it this time?
You're the kind of man that wants to help the world. But something seems to be holding you back. Yourself.
Attention teachers and students. It is my sad duty to inform you that a member of our staff, Mr. Mason Hearing, has suffered an accident at his home last evening. The hospital has informed us of this news only moments ago. I'm afraid that Mr. Hearing is no longer with us. A service will be held upon further notice next week.
Mr. Callan? Officer Haycock, I'd like to bring you down for questioning concerning a one Mr. Mason Curtis Herring. Please come with me. Just explain to me one more time, son. You say your friend who was murdered was carrying a book that was published from the future?
Yes, sir. And I have reason to believe that he was killed for what he knows about the president in Dallas today.
Yes, you mentioned that. You say that the president is going to be shot by a man who works in the school book depository.
That's correct. A man named Lee Harvey Oswald. You have to call and warn someone.
Son, do you have any idea how many death threats President Kennedy has received since the Bay of Pigs incident?
This isn't a threat. This is real.
I'll tell you what's real. The fact that Principal Bateman informed us that you were the last person Mason Herring talked to. Mason, a man who you worked with at the State Department right before you were charged with departmental fraud.
The charges were dropped. The man was never found.
Under mysterious circumstances. Both him and Herring were colleagues of yours that seemed to share a similar fate.
Look, if you just get the textbook from Mason's house, then you'll know I'm right.
We made a clean sweep of the area, Mr. Callan. The only textbooks found on the premises were that of Mr. Herring's classes. No politics and science textbooks was found. Your story is your own. My God.
See? I told you. Listen, you've got to get me out of here. The book is... What What are you doing?
I'll deal with you later. I know there's some people around here who want to question you.
You don't think I had anything to do with...
I don't know what to think, Mr. Callan. But I do know a few things. I know that you knew about this. I know of your questionable past at the State Department. And I know that you were the last person to see Mason Herring alive.
Need a hand? Oh my... You're... You. I know. It's a little strange for me as well, seeing myself 12 years younger. What? There isn't much time. Here. Go ahead. Ask your questions. The person who sent me the textbook. Me. The person who's been following me. Also me. The person who killed Mason? I'm afraid so. Why? He's the one who stole the information that violated several Geneva Convention provisions. We trusted him. But when I went back in time to find out what happened, it turned out to be him. I'm sorry. But... kill him? I could go on and on about the people that would die if I didn't. Mason was a conspirator in the JFK assassination and would have continued conspiring assassinations in years to come. But I wasn't able to stop that before it happened. Why send the textbook to me if not to save the president? It wasn't your job. It wasn't my job either. Believe it or not, as tragic as it was, undoing that would have been the most tragic of all. What do you mean? A great man achieves greater things when he leaves a legacy behind. Remember the point about Sputnik. All we have to do is think big and let the results speak for themselves. Kennedy meant a lot to millions of people, and still does. You can find Kennedy's legacy around every corner. The legacy for a better tomorrow. So, what happens to me now? Here. Where am I going? You mean, when are you going? In 6 months, this small police station will move to a different locale and will be turned into a vacant lot. I'm sending you 6 months into the future. Then what? Then you leave a legacy of your own. Here's a piece of Sputnik. Make it fly. What is it?
I don't know. It looks like some science notes or something.
Well, send it off to the Bureau. Maybe they can make some sense out of it. Till then, get a search party together. We got a manhunt on our hands.
Julius Callan, a suspected conspirator of the JFK assassination, disappeared in November 1963 during questioning, but left behind documents about new discoveries in quantum physics, which ultimately led to the foundation for a new theorem of time travel.
File 1 police report for a missing person. Description: frantic. However, no reward or search party will have any luck of recovery. For as it had been written to Mr. Callan, he can be only found shelved away in the deepest corner of the post-cognitive.